These are the 5 most important bottles in my collection. Hey everybody, welcome back to another episode of the Bourbon Hutch, and thanks so much for joining me on this journey through the world of whiskey. So I wanted to get a little more retrospective or introspective today and think about the bottles that have really shaped my whiskey journey. Hopefully this gets you thinking too about the bottles that have played a significant role in your own whiskey journey. For me, each of these bottles on the list, for one reason or another, played a pivotal role. It could have introduced me to a new brand, changed my mind or shifted my perspective in some important way, connected me to people, played a pivotal role in the channel. So all of that is in play today, and I wanted to just put together my list and really answer that question: which 5 bottles have been most important to my own journey? So in some ways, they're the 5 most important bottles in my collection. We'll start off with the most obvious bottle, and that is Maker's Mark FAE02. So this was the first bottle I ever reviewed on the channel. It was sort of the first somewhat allocated, harder to find bottle that I ever got my hands on. I was so excited. I was diving into the hobby fully and really soaking in the bourbon community, and decided, hey, why don't I put out a video reviewing this, just see how it goes. I had been toying with the idea of maybe doing a bourbon channel and sort of thinking about, hey, I'm a beginner, let me track my journey, which it's fun that this video gets to do that, thinking about the last 4+ years. And so this bottle was the first one I reviewed. It's a terrible video. Please don't go watch it. I mean, I think I put the phone up on the table and it's all shaking as I put the bottle up and down and drink it. But hey, we've learned a lot since then. And this bottle in particular, it's just always going to have a special place in my heart. It's more than halfway gone for sure now. So once it's gone, maybe I'll do something special with this bottle in particular. Just make it into a lamp or something. I don't know. It needs to be commemorated. But that one's definitely, significant to me, might even be the most important one on this list. All right, so bottle number 2 is more about a brand, coming to fall in love with a particular brand and maybe even have a favorite brand in all of whiskey. For me, that bottle was Bardstown Bourbon Company's Origin Series Wheated Bourbon. So I had already developed a good relationship with Bardstown and liked their products. In particular, I went to the Kentucky Bourbon Festival, I think this was 3 or 4 years ago now, and there I bought a bottle of the Discovery Series number 8. Thought it was a phenomenal bottle, one of the best things I tasted at the festival, so I came home with one, really loved it. But then Bardstown released their own distillate at 6 years old. I went out and grabbed the 3 main releases as soon as they came out. This one really just stood out among the pack. It's $50 to $55, and this is just what I feel like modern, great, affordable whiskey should be. And so I really applaud Bardstown, and it's made me a huge fan. I essentially get anything they release or try to. Now they do a lot of those collaborations that are more in that $150 to $200 range that I will, not get every single one, but I'll keep an eye out for the best ones. But anything they do in this Origin series, anything they do that I hear is getting great reviews, the new Distillery series that they're releasing, I'm sort of all bought into the Bardstown brand. This bottle essentially sealed the deal and made me a super fan. Okay, so bottle number 3, wedged right in the middle of this list, is probably the most, I don't know if it's sentimental, but it has more to do with community, getting other people into whiskey, and really sharing this hobby. And for me, that bottle is Barrel Vantage. Seems like an interesting one to have fill this category, but the main reason is my wife in particular really loves this bottle. And she's not naturally, drawn to bourbon like I was in terms of palate, so it took a little while to introduce her to the hobby and get her invested. But then it was this bottle of Barrel Vantage that really changed her mind. She found this like peach and cream note in it that she really loved. I've seen that happen with other people in my life where you play around a little bit and then you get that one whiskey or one bourbon that really sort of hits with them, and they actually recognize 1 or 2 very distinct notes they like, and then they start to explore more and more. So this bottle in particular did that. Even though it's a barrel strength, you know, kind of sophisticated thing, it really hit her palate well. And so very appreciative for Barrel Vantage. I'm a big barrel fan, partially because of that. But it's just one that I share with her quite often and sort of brought her into this hobby that I love, and now I get to share a lot with her. All right, so now we take a turn to more of a cautionary tale, and this bottle represents that kind of maybe regret or mistake or learning experience, if we want to call it that, and that is Wild Turkey Master's Keep Voyage. So this might be one of my bigger regrets. I don't want to say it's like a major regret or that I hate this bottle. That is not the case. It's a very good bottle of whiskey. 10 years old, finished in rum casks, very well done. Problem is, it was $250 to $275 when I bought it. It was the year Master's Keep went from like a $150 bottle to $250 to $275. It was climbing and it was crazy. This was the first time I ever saw a bottle of Master's Keep in the wild, decided to grab it. Really enjoy it, but I do not think it's really worth that price, as I've tasted other upper echelon bourbons and very unicorn releases, if you will. This one has paled in comparison to them, and so sort of a cautionary tale for me. Really made me pause and think before you spend that much money. One, it's worth it to maybe taste it if you can ahead of time at a bar, or just pause and ask yourself that question of like, if I don't get this, you know, is the world really going to end? Is it really going to be worth that amount of money? Sometimes I wait now just to see how reviews are going and then see if I can track down one of those more expensive bottles. Still though, every once in a while I do pull the trigger on something that's pretty expensive without fully knowing, and it's always a little bit of a risk. You got to have some of those, but this one, Master's Keep, sort of taught me my lesson to pause, really ask that question of, if it's this expensive, how much do I really need it, and can I trust that it's going to deliver great quality? All right, now on the flip side, let's go back to the happy. Let's end on a positive note. Just before we do that, I do want to say, if you're enjoying all the content coming out of the channel, would love to have you aboard as a subscriber to the channel. We're trying to hit 5,000 by the end of the year. The bourbon bubble, the bourbon boom seems to have slowed down here, and that's all right. I'm in this hobby to just continue to drink good whiskey, share what I'm learning with you guys. I love the community. I really appreciate all your comments. So if you haven't subscribed already, please consider joining us. While you're at it, hit the like button on this video. That's what gets it out to the most people. And then comment down below, which bottles, maybe it's 2 or 3, maybe it's a full list of 5 like I've got here, which bottles have really shaped your whiskey experience? Would love to hear which ones played a pivotal role for you. All right, we'll get to our last bottle now. This one is about changing your perception of a brand and really coming to appreciate that unicorn whiskey, that high-level whiskey done really, really well. For me, that bottle is Michter's 10 Rye. So I had a up and down relationship with Michter's, mostly down, in that their normal everyday offerings at like $45 to $50 for the bourbon and their rye and the American whiskey, none of them felt like they were justifying that slightly higher price. I wish they lived in more of that $30 to $35 range for the quality. So I was like, I don't know if I love Michter's. Then I had the opportunity to go to the distillery and get myself a bottle of the Michter's 10 Rye. And man, this is like one of my favorite bottles of all time. It's so delicious. This is the 2023, but I also have the 2024, and it's amazing as well. There's probably older stuff than 10-year rye in here, but one, changed my mind about Michter's completely. They're one of my favorite brands in terms of upper echelon whiskey, and more importantly, in terms of rye. I think their ryes are spectacular. Now I've got the barrel strength rye from 2025, and that's phenomenal. So it really turned my perception around on Michter's, and then also made me a little bit more comfortable, I wouldn't say is the word, but a little less risk averse and a little bit more maybe even proud that like some whiskeys at that price of around $200, which is what I paid for this, really do pay off. And this is one I cherish, one I actually do have a backup whiskey of now that I was able to get, a 2023 version, which I'm gonna crack open at like the birth of my child or something like that. So This definitely changed my perception, got me a little bit more into rye, and reminded me that sometimes that price or that rarity of whiskey does match the price, and then the quality really delivers. So, all right, that's my list. 5 bottles here that really shaped my whiskey journey, in good ways, in bad ways, but ultimately those bad ways were learning experiences, but mostly good and mostly reasons that I've continued to dive into this hobby and continue to love it. Again, comment down below. What do you think of my list, and what would go on your own personal list? Till I see you guys again for another video, all I can say is keep drinking good whiskey. Hope you're enjoying the journey, and cheers.